Welcome back to Hyab Academy. In our previous lessons, we introduced the 8 parts of speech and studied nouns and pronouns step by step. Today's video is a continuation of that series, and we are now focusing on verbs. Verbs are extremely important because no sentence can be complete without a verb. In this lesson, we will explain what verbs are, their main types, and how they change in different tenses. By the end of this video, you will have a strong and clear understanding of verbs in English. Let go. 1. Meaning of a verb. A verb is a word that shows an action, a state of being, or an occurrence. It tells us what someone or something does, or what condition they are in. For example, in the sentences, she runs every morning, they eat lunch at noon, and he is tired, the words runs, eat, and is are verbs. Every meaningful English sentence must contain a verb, because verbs give life and structure to communication. 2. Regular and irregular verbs. Verbs are classified as regular or irregular, based on how they form their past tense and past participle. Regular verbs follow a simple and fixed rule by adding ed to the base form. For instance, work becomes worked, play becomes played, and clean becomes cleaned. Irregular verbs do not follow this rule, and their past forms change in different ways. Examples include go, which changes to went and gone, eat, which changes to ate and eaten, and write, which changes to wrote and written. Because irregular verbs have no consistent pattern, learners must memorize them through practice. 3. Transitive and intransitive verbs. Verbs can also be divided into transitive and intransitive verbs. A transitive verb requires an object to complete its meaning. For example, in the sentence, she reads a book, the verb reads needs the object a book to make sense. Without the object, the sentence feels incomplete. In contrast, an intransitive verb does not need an object. Sentences such as, the baby cried, he slept well, and the sun rose early, are complete, even without an object. 4. Main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Another important distinction is between main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Main verbs express the central action or state in a sentence, as seen in sentences like, she writes letters, and they live in Nairobi. Auxiliary verbs, also called helping verbs, support the main verb by showing tense, voice, mood, or by forming questions and negative sentences. The most common auxiliary verbs in English are be, have, and do. For example, in the sentence, she is reading, the verb is helps the main verb reading, while in, they have finished their work, have helps finished. The auxiliary verbs are also divided into 2. The primary auxiliary, which include verb to be, is, are, am, was, were, be, being and been. Verb to have, has, have, had and having. And verb to do, did, does, done and doing. And the modal auxiliary, which include may, might, will, would, can, could, need to, shall, should, and ought to. 5. Verb forms. Verb 1, Verb 2, Verb 3, and verbing English verbs appear in different forms depending on tense and usage. Verb 1 is the base form of the verb and is used in the simple present tense, and after to, such as I go to school, or I want to eat. Verb 2 is the past simple form, and is used for actions completed in the past, as in, she wrote a letter yesterday. We are our supper. Verb 3 is the past participle form, mainly used with auxiliary verbs like have, has, or had, and in passive voice, for example, they have eaten, or the work has been done. The varying form, also called the present participle, is used in continuous tenses, and can also act as a noun, as in, she is reading, or learning English is important. In conclusion, verbs are the backbone of English grammar. They express actions, states, and events, and they change their form depending on tense and function. Understanding regular and irregular verbs, transitive and intransitive verbs, main and auxiliary verbs, and the forms verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, and verbing, will help learners form clear and correct sentences. This lesson builds directly on our earlier lessons on nouns and pronouns, and prepares you for learning tenses and sentence structure. Thank you for watching Hyab Academy. If you have not watched our previous lessons on the 8 parts of speech, nouns and pronouns, please check them out to understand today's lesson better. Like this video, share it with other learners, and subscribe to the channel for more clear and structured English lessons. In our next video, we will continue with this series by explaining adverbs clearly.